everyone, this is the Free American Press with your host Alexander Horat. The title of this video is Interest Rates Set to Skyrocket. But before I get into it, if you could please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video, that would be really appreciated. So basically, we're seeing interest rates are already starting to skyrocket in Russia as their currency completely collapses. They actually lost 30% of their currency, the ruble, in just, I think, yesterday, which is a really crazy thing. So basically, their currency is becoming worthless due to all these sanctions, I guess, and pretty much people's savings are being wiped out. And now we're seeing that the Russian government is actually doubles interest rates, and I guess this is just a plan to hopefully strengthen the ruble and to make their currency a little bit stronger. So they have raised its key interest rates from 9.5% to 20% in an attempt to shore up the ruble after it plunged 30% to a record low against the dollar. So we're seeing what they're trying to do. They're trying to stabilize their currency, and that's what they're trying to do by doubling interest rates. So we'll see what happens to this. But pretty much when you double interest rates like this usually affects the housing market because people aren't able to borrow and spend more than their means to buy a house, and also for other things like credit and stuff. People are able to buy stuff that they couldn't afford by themselves. So the basically this will shrink the economy to some extent. But even though they're doing that, they're trying to save their currency from being completely destroyed. So that's why they're trying to do this. But I'm just wondering if this is going to be happening in the United States if a war continues. And unfortunately, I believe that this could very well happen in the United States. I already covered how actually there could be a cyber attack on our banks, and how interest rates could very well rise. And what that will basically do is crash the housing market, and it'll probably crash a lot of different markets as well. If there's a big something rather like a nuclear attack or chemical warfare or something that starts World War III, maybe even start some sort of Black Tuesday. I think it was called like Great Depression type thing, but it's basically remains to be seen. But pretty much a lot of Russians weren't prepared for this, and they had their their rubles in the bank. And while their rubles sat in the bank, it lost 30%, and a lot of the people weren't able to get their rubles out of the ATMs. So they basically lost 30% of their value, and that pretty much ruined a lot of people's savings. It's like if you had $1 million, 30% I think would be $333,000, and then your money in the bank would only be worth like 700,000, some 700 something, or 677 or something like that. So just imagine that happening in the United States when you're not able to spend it or anything. And at the same time, we saw gold and silver and food prices and food basically stay pretty good price. Didn't really go down. It's actually going up a little bit. So commodities are actually starting to go up, while all this big financial unrest is happening, and basically an unraveling of the banking system. So that really shows that it may be a good idea to stock up on food, because if your currency plunges, your food is going to go up in price, and that's what's going to happen in Russia, unfortunately. And it might even make food unaffordable for some people, and possibly even cause starvation within the country. And also gold and silver, that hasn't gone down. But basically, really important thing is just having the money in your wallet so you can spend it. You see a disaster coming, because if there's a big disaster coming, the people who are able to spend their money first actually have the most benefits, because it basically starts a huge cycle of a lot of people spending their money, and then their currency drops tremendously as people just start, injecting all that money into the economy, basically spending all their savings. So I just wanted to cover this and how this was pretty scary, and just be prepared. There's a lot of ways to be prepared, so this won't be scary. So you'll be prepared when something happens, and maybe if you have, your savings, maybe you'll be able to buy, real estate, possibly when it crashes or something, or I don't know, or there could be benefits in the long term, possibly. For some people, they put their money in the correct place, but that's just like with anything. Uh, but it's going to be a really bad thing for the world. especially if there's a major war. Uh, so it's just about being prepared. So if you'd like to support what I'm doing and making my YouTube videos, I started a PayPal fundraiser, and by donating, you're helping me continue and getting the word out on how our freedoms are being taken away and how we can stop that. I also plan on running for local office in the future as well. Uh, but I would just like to say thank you for watching this video. If you could please follow me on my other social media sites such as Gab, Parlar, BitChute, and YouTube, and also Facebook and Twitter. That would be really great as well. And I would just like to say thanks again for watching. I hope you all have a good day. God bless.